We're at 746 KNEB News Extra Time, brought to you by First State Bank. Here's Kevin Moon.
And thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. Our guest today is Ann James, the Executive Director of the Riverside Discovery Center. And yes, it is that time of year again. Spooktacular is not that far away. As a matter of fact, it's maybe 10 days, actually. 10 days away from today. The 24th annual, believe it or not. And Ann James is here to talk about what you need for volunteers. You need a lot of volunteers from what you put on this press release.
We do. We have a lot of slots that need volunteers to make the event interactive for the public. And we run it 5 nights, so that compounds the numbers that we need. But we've done it for so many years, and it's just become part of our culture here in western Nebraska. And kids that came as children are now bringing their children. So we want to continue to enhance the event and add more volunteers and make it more special each year. So it's a lot of fun, and the people that volunteer, I think, have as much fun as the kids that attend.
They do. Okay, October 26th through the 30th. So listen up. This is how you can volunteer. We're going to talk about, first of all, how groups can do this, groups and companies and businesses. You have a kind of a special incentive challenge this year, right?
We do. We came up with a new idea to raise money for groups if they will participate in one station for all 5 nights. Then when the public leaves at the end of the night, they will vote with a quarter, which was their favorite station in Spooktacular. And then the money that is raised will be split 50-50. The winning group will get half of the money, and they may donate it to any nonprofit of their choice. The other half we will donate to the Association of Zoos and Aquariums Conservation Endowment Fund. And that is a group that raises money across all the aquariums and zoos that are accredited by AZA. And they loan out loans to scientists to do research in the field to help in animal conservation, because a lot of our animals are going away, and this is a great way to do research and help find out what ways we can help save them better.
All right. And if it's a nonprofit group, for example, they can if they get half the money, they can keep it for themselves and use it for their own good.
That's right. If they're a nonprofit group, they can keep the half of the money for their own use.
All right. So, the areas to volunteer are limited for this particular challenge?
Yeah, we have certain groups that require a lot of people, that a business or a social club or a civic club, service club could take on. And so if any group is interested, they do need to get a hold of us right away, because we're getting individual volunteers signed up daily, and we want to be sure to save those big ones for the ones that want to do the Spooktacular challenge.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, you're talking about the individual volunteers. There's a lot of character slots that need to be filled over those 5 nights, like 230 character slots?
Well, roughly.
Roughly?
We could use a lot of pirates, a lot of witches. We have a huge segment that has Disney characters, because the little kids really enjoy that part as much as anything there. And so that part is non-scary. It's just fun for the little kids. Then last year our zombie zone was so popular that we're expanding that this year and going to have a really big, really scary section. But that will be just strictly for children 12 and up, because it is going to be scary, and we don't want the little ones to get scared. So we need a lot more volunteers for the spooky section than we did last year. We just had a few selected people last year, but it's going to be a much larger part of the event. So half of it will be scary and half of it will be very kid-friendly.
All right. Volunteers need to be at least 14 years of age.
That's right. If they're 14 to 16, they do need to have an adult with them each night. And we've got certain rules about what you can and cannot do as a volunteer, but they need to be there from 5:45 until around 8:30, 8:45 each night. And we have lots of costumes. If you don't have a costume, don't worry, we've got boxes full.
Okay.
So we'd be glad to have you come volunteer.
All right. You also need pumpkins carved by the public, and that always occurs.
We usually end up with about 500 pumpkins that are carved and lighted for the event, and it really adds a lot of atmosphere to the grounds at the zoo. And so if any group wants to carve a pumpkin, they need to pick it up Tuesday, sometime Tuesday, have it returned to the zoo on Wednesday. And I don't have a calendar. That's probably the 24th. Correct?
Yeah, the 24th. You have here. Let's see. You need to pumpkins need to be picked up. It says here Wednesday and returned by Thursday.
Okay, so I told you.
So Wednesday,
wrong.
Wednesday, October 24th, and Thursday, October 25th.
We don't want them carved the weekend before because the event runs 5 nights, and with the hot and cold, they tend to mold and decompose. So we try to have groups carve the pumpkins just the very last thing, so we can get them up and mounted and displayed. We ask that people carve the bottom out so we can set it on a light bulb, because we certainly don't have time to go around and light 500 candles to light those pumpkins. So we leave the tops intact and carve out the bottom.
All right. So that's if you're going to do the pumpkin carving, stop by the zoo on Wednesday the 24th and return it by Thursday the 25th. And if you want to volunteer at all, the number to call is 630-6236, or you can simply email at info@riversidediscoverycenter.org.
And I want to give a thank you to the Gearing Junior High. They're going to help fill our Runs of Treat Cups this year and help carve 300 of the pumpkins. So the kids at Gearing are going to be real busy, and we really appreciate their help.
Yep. And the spectacular runs, what time to what time on the nights, 26th through the 30th?
It's the 26th through the 30th. The gates are open from 6:30 until 8 p.m.
Okay, and the cost is
it's
pretty
$5
minimal.
for ages 2 and up.
Yep.
And it's a great time, great way to spend a nice Halloween evening.
Yep. And hopefully we'll have good weather, the weather that we've had pretty much for most of the year. Hopefully that won't be the time when we get all the cold and stuff. But anyway, 24th Annual Spooktacular. Again, if you want to volunteer, 630-6236, or email info@riversidediscoverycenter.org. We appreciate Ann James coming by.